live from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The one, the only. Well, it's the Unexpected Thrill of a Lifetime podcast, eh? Yeah. What is happening? That's right, I'm your host, Dan Fisher, and we are coming to you with another great show. That's right, it is episode 22 of the show that you have been craving for. Oh, please pardon our dust. We're under construction over here. We're building ourselves a brand new lab of fun and excitement. We're building a big high-rise, that goes along the skyline and checks out the stars. You wouldn't believe the things that we're doing over here. Actually, hey boys, you think you could cut that down a little bit? I said boys! Boys! You think you could... Oh, okay. Well, hopefully we can just stop that for a second. It's been like this for days. I'm trying to put together a show. I'm trying to get all kinds of shit done, and this is just disturbing my whole process here. It's aggravating. Oh my gosh, but I gotta get to the show. That's right, it's Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. Monday morning, that's right. The date is the 19th of July. Already! It's already this far through July. What is happening? What even is going on? It's not even fair. But the summer is passing us by, and it gives us a break for about an hour, and then it gets better, and then it gets worse, and it's rainforest weather. 1 minute it's like over 100 degrees, and it's humid, and it's drippy, wet, and swamp ass, all that, and the next thing you know it's just crazy. Kaboom! No, guys, not like that. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of infrastructure, a lot of projects happening. You know us. We got an army of thousands of talented guys, the likes of which we've never seen before. And it's going to continue to push us into the abyss of the future and beyond. Believe me, come with me on this journey. It's the unexpected thrill of a lifetime. As always, your strapping young lad of a host, Dan Fisher. We're coming to you, like I said, with episode 22. You're probably like, all right, I'm ready to turn this off already, but I'm telling you, just stick with it, man. We this is a special show. Once in a while, I come home from work and I've got some energy. I'm feeling inspired. I'm excited. I want to, sit back, maybe spark up a number, maybe take a shot or two, and fire up the podcast set, because first thing Monday morning isn't always the most desirable. We've got a lot of features for you today. The likes of which we've never seen before. But I'm going to cover all that in just a second. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming along with us on our journey. I hope you enjoyed last week's show with Alex Gardner. We went for about an hour. We did a lot of improv. We got a little bit crazy. We had some laughs. We had what didn't we have? We had a lot of things. But he's a good friend of ours on the show, and we always appreciate his input and his silliness. His Trump impression just cracked me up the whole time. I mean, there's a conversation to be had whether it was like the best Trump impression, but it was definitely one of the funniest, because I think impressions are good if you can sound about 90% like the person, but then you can add just one little bit of absurdness or ridiculousness that kind of like throws it off. Like you always want to push the envelope, as they say in the showbiz world and the on stage world, and frankly, whatever world you got that you're tapping into. But as always, we've got some of the features. Some of the features you may be familiar with, others maybe not. We have the return of the pizza tour by popular demand. We've had one person asking me about it, and that person may or may not be a citizen of Kwanzaa. We've got the big lie. We've got, we'll talk about stuff around Philly a little bit. We're gonna talk to God about COVID and climate change. See what his perspective is. We've got FFN News with the usual craziness along with that. This week's campaign promise. I'm making a lot of promises that I probably will not be able to keep, but we need to vote anyway. Let's see. We have got, did I say views of a driver? I'm pretty sure I did. We're going in deep with the beef. I have written down here a name that I haven't done anything with, Dr. Spigot Shits. I don't know, there's something there. Maybe somebody can do something with that. But, and then the feature part of the show, which I'm actually only going to get to last, is a musical portion where we get the let out, baby. We're going to get the let out. Unfortunately, I can't play any of the music because it'll get me taken off of YouTube because of copyright issues. Even though a lot of Led Zeppelin music is ripped off blues music that they took sometimes word for word. But it's okay, because we're not going to be haters here. Like I said, I'm relaxing. We've got the evil lab firing on all cylinders. We've got all kinds of crazy lights, all kinds of aberrations. There's a ghost in the corner who's looking at me with red eyes. There's all kinds of things happening. And we're trying to get this all recorded before Clownvis to the Rescue comes on. Because I am an avid fan. I talk to you about him all the time. And I was thinking, I believe that I do. This isn't a joke, even though it sounds like it. I think that clowning and clowns and just the idea of them is just making a big comeback. I mean, because let's be honest, if you ask a lot of people, they say they're afraid of clowns. They were used a lot in like horror movies. But now just pay attention in everyday life and everyday speech, how often people say, even, old phrases like clowning around, or, oh, what a clown show, and, oh, look at this clown car. People are constantly talking about clowns, and I'm seeing more and more of them kind of pop up. I think the face paint is, a way to kind of abstract yourself and abstract reality, and it makes me think, there are a lot of performers out there that do wear face paint and that do disguise themselves, and I'm starting to see the appeal of it a little bit in a lot of ways. Oh, the boys are back with those tools again. Yeah, they're pouring concrete and breaking up some kind of mass of some sort. The crowd seems to really enjoy it. I don't know, but anyway, we're gonna just close the door here a little bit on that, and we're gonna move right along now. Let's see. This is great air silence. If this were radio, somebody would have burst through the door by now and said, "You've got to put something on. You can't just have dead air." Alrighty. Today's FFN News is brought to you by Conversations with God. Okay, hello there. Dear God, I've never done this before. I once was at a loss for words, so I fell down to my knees, and I prayed the alphabet, and then I came up with the rest of this story. Oh God, almighty God, He who I pray to all the time, I have one question. And if you answer that, maybe a few more. But I have one question. Please hear me and answer me. Yes. What is it, young Daniel? What can I do for you? Oh, sir, it's so good to hear from you. I need your help. I need your guidance. Yes, I see. Many who reach out to me often do. What is it? What troubles you? Well, sir, I must admit, I'm feeling at a weakness. Some call it COVID sickness, or what were they calling it when they said that we all just couldn't wait? Oh, COVID restlessness, whatever you want to say it. I don't have that. I'm past it. What I want to know is, why, God? Why in the first place did you create such a crazy and diabolical virus that ravages the world? Why? Why have you done it? Well, it seems you got me there. I haven't really thought about it. You know, sometimes in the bat world, there are bats that don't follow the rules. And when they don't follow the rules, they find themselves at the center of the earth, flying down caves that they have never should have flown down. And it is at the bottom of those caves that they run into the beast, 666, the devil. And these viruses emerge to plague the human race. Even I could not foresee it and stop it in time. Oh, I see. Well, you created the earth and everything on the earth and everything like that. So why is that our problem? We pray so hard, we sacrifice virgins every 100 years, and we definitely have many temples built to your will. What about climate change? Climate change, eh? Listen, if it's a little hot this year, it may be because I let out a couple of farts after my ghost jalapeno pepper wings last night. Listen, things might heat up for a little bit and it might smell like shit out there, but just you keep in mind that the harder you pray and the more that you donate to your corner church and forgive a rabbi or a priest for awful things, all of these things can lead to your strength and your fortification in God and your prolonged donation. Okay, well, I don't know what to make of any of that. Again, climate change. The seas are rising. There's volcanoes everywhere. There's mudslides. There's floods. What are we supposed to do? Our buildings can't shoulder these immense changes upon these tectonic plates. Yes, and you better not get too comfortable with the moon either. It started wobbling on its axis. So you better keep a poncho handy and get ready to move, bitch. Okay, well, oh God, I don't know what to do. And now, what can be done? There's all this ransomware. These Russian hackers. They're shutting down our pipelines. They're cutting off our meat. I mean, who knows? Maybe soon they're gonna just shut off the AC. It's hot out here. Listen, you think it's hot there? Why don't you just come to the Valley of Death in California? Aptly named, it is 118 degrees this week. You think it's hot? It's just getting started, bitch. I don't think I want to pray to God anymore. Every time I do, it's just a crisis on my part. I don't know if I can go through with it anymore. It just hurts too much. So now, I think I shall retreat. I think this call to God is over. This prayer is ending, and I am shutting it down. I cannot do this anymore. I don't know what else to do other than to check into the news. Live from the evil carousel, it's FFN News. Welcome to FFN News. That's right, with all of the news being called fake nowadays, there's a demand and a need for the real fake news. I'm Daniel Fisher, and here are today's silly stories. FFN News Donuts. Recently, Dunkin' Donuts changed its name several times. Well, in the past week, it changed its name once again down to simply Dunk. FFN News Comfort Food. With the rise of new treats such as the macaroni and cheese flavored ice cream, comes a new product called the macaroni and cheesecake. FFN News Texas. Governor Greg Abbott builds a new wall around the remaining border of Texas to keep out fleeing Democrats who fled the state to prevent new voting restrictions. When asked about the wall, Greg Abbott said, "Well, we need them to vote and to get work done, but if they don't ever show back up, that's fine with me." FFN News Oceans. This week it was announced that the world was adding a new ocean to be recognized called the South Ocean. Now, this ocean takes place below Africa and South America and places like New Zealand and Australia, but it surrounds the South Pole. So, yeah, that's the South Sea. But it is an apt and necessary change now that all of the ice caps have melted and have created this extra sea. And now a word from Daniel Fisher, running for a state Senate seat, Pat Toomey's open slot in the 2022 election. Yes, hello, this is Daniel Fisher, and recently I've been coming to you and making several campaign promises. You may be familiar with our very popular 1 Million Trees in 1 Million Days initiative. Well, I am going to continue the natural approach, and I am instituting a new program called Volcano Technology. That's right. There's a lot of volcanoes out there, and they think they can just blow their top at any time and destroy anything they want. Well, I recently watched the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring, and I just got some major inspiration. So what we're going to do is we are going to, first off, we are going to put walls around the top of the volcano that basically have filters on them that take out all of the smoke and the CO2 and all of that nonsense. But what I'm going to be doing is we are going to be utilizing every government craft, every plane, every vessel we have, and we are going to be pouring all of the world's trash into the top of the volcano. That's how we're going to eradicate all of our trash problems. You're worried about the ocean, the floating island of trash the size of Texas in the ocean? Well, we are going to dump it all inside of a volcano technology. That's it. It'll just be simply eradicated. There's no more trash. We're going to get rid of all of it. Well, thank you for joining us for this evening's edition of FFN News. We try to keep things ultra professional, ultra exciting for you folks. And we try to follow the day's stories that maybe not everybody is covering or that not everybody is following. So right now we are going to keep it moving. Alrighty, folks. That's right. Like I said, tomorrow is Monday the 19th. 88 degrees today, and it looks like pretty much all week it's going to be straight in the 90s. Some rain coming on, some rain coming off. That's right, we're in the middle of jungle weather now. If you live in the Northeast like I do, we don't have stable, calm, thunderstorm once in a while, summers like we used to. We don't even get a real fall and spring anymore. Now it's either hot, swamp-ass muggy, or it's pouring down rain right in your face. But it's okay, because we got a lot of good things going on. The pizza tour this week. Alright, so I got this new place I'm throwing at you. Now, Grubhub suggested this to me. It's in University City. That's where I'm a lazy fuck. So, chances are if it's not on my part of the city, I'm not going to get there as fast as other places. So just, keep that in mind. But anyway, we got NJ's at Smoky Joe's. Now, this place is kind of like one of those kind of places that you see on like the Food Network where it's not so much like let's make the best thing ever. It's more like let's take your favorite food and take it to the extreme. All kinds of sauces, all kinds of combinations, crazy pizza stuff, calzone, you name it. The pizza was good. I got a pepperoni and mushroom, very cheesy. I'm gonna give it 6 out of 10 slices of pizza. The next time you're in Philadelphia and you're like, oh man, this pizza place is busy, this one's busy, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go. Listen, bitch, just go to Smokey Joe's. I mean, I already gave it 6 slices of pizza. If you're still listening, good on you. You're doing good. We have a great show. The rest of it is coming right up. I'm just Google searching something right now. But we're going to be keeping you entertained with plenty more. We've been getting a lot of good feedback about the Alex episodes. He's a great friend of mine, as you can tell. And we love being silly, joking around, improvising, and all the rest. I hope to have him on more. So if you want to see him on more, get in touch with him at A is for Alex on Instagram and say, yo, get your black ass back on Dan's show. Because the unexpected thrill of a lifetime isn't the same without him. He's our little sound effect boy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, this is like a crazy party right now, man. We're having a good time. We're dancing. We got 2 chihuahuas up in here. We got a boy chihuahua. We got a girl chihuahua, and it's moving on. Alrighty. That's gonna be enough of that. It's just enough of that crazy music. But anyway, next we're moving on to another part of the show. Well, you know it. I know it. It's my fucking favorite. It's the beef. All right. This is where I feel like I can let my hair down. I can take a break. I can take a hit, you know? I meant to mention in the last sequence that yesterday was National Ice Cream Day, or today, Sunday, National Ice Cream Day, and I can't say that I had any ice cream. I can't say that. I had some yesterday, but oh well. Anyway, new feature on the YouTube channel is I created a new playlist under the playlist tab called Driving with Elbows. Now, 10 years ago, I was in a band called Driving with Elbows that I started with Alex and Brandon Long and Dan Chrisman. I haven't talked about this too much, and I don't know exactly how much I do want to talk about it, but if you want to see any of the videos, they're there. If you can hear that, that's this week's sponsored bud. It is Crimson. Wait. Scarlet. What is it? Scarlet Woman, or I don't have the jar nearby. It's Scarlet Fever or something like that. Great stuff, man. If you've got your medical card, check it out. All right. On to the beef. I was thinking the other day, you know, maybe we should start combining some holidays to make them a little bit more interesting. I was thinking about in the future, maybe combining, having in between Christmas and Halloween, or maybe on one of them, I don't know. But you put up all of your Christmas and your Halloween decorations, and you make it a haunted Christmas. That's right. That's right. I think that would be a big hit. You come dressed up as something from Halloween. You give gifts. You have all kinds of crazy treats and stuff. And the lighting and the decorations are out of sight, man. Imagine a Christmas tree with like cobwebs and all kinds of stuff all over it. I think it would be great. I think it would be tremendous, and we're all looking forward to it very much. Speaking of which, nah, I'm not gonna go there. Also, on combining holidays, they say July, the end of July, is the halfway point to Christmas. I can't decide if that makes me dread or excited for the holidays again. It all comes way too fast. But also, good for us for having a built-in fucking break once in a while. Our society demands so much of us anyway. At least they have one day where you're like, hey, it's Christmas and Tinseltown. So just take the day off, That being said, I wanted to give a shout out to last week on July. Yeah, last week was mine and my sweetheart Michelle's 4-year anniversary of meeting each other. It was a warm July day, and I had come to the city, and I had been with a friend who was getting a tattoo done, and I was waiting in the waiting room, and in walked Michelle and her friend, who went over and got a tattoo, and the two of us started talking, and the rest was history. I asked her for her number, and 4 years ago today, we are still a heck of an item. So shout out to Shelly. Big fan of Mac Sabbath. Big fan of Clownvis. Big fan of the unexpected thrill of a lifetime. And so is okay, I can turn off this construction sound effect now because I'm not describing the city anymore. Back to holidays. I just had to throw that holiday out there. Another holiday is, alright, so in the springtime, I'm thinking let's combine Mother's Day, Father's Day, and Easter all at once. So you get a knock on the door, and you're like, who the hell is it? And he goes, yo, it's the Easter Bunny. And he opened the door, and he takes your mother by the hand. He takes your father by the hand. He raises their hand up in the air, and he goes, yay, parents! And then he places an egg in the two hands, one of each, one mom, one dad. And he says, you are now Eastrified. You are now Eastrified. That sounds like a terrible, awful, boring idea. But that doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. What else do we got to talk about here? All right. Well, I got two other stories for you, and then we're gonna get on. Well, I got a couple more things actually. This is gonna be a long episode because I'm recording it at night, and I got a little bit more time. And I can talk a little bit more. Speaking of which, the big lie. I'm just gonna, I always like to comment on the big lie because if there's anybody that's listening to this that has bought into the conspiracy that Donald Trump actually won the election and that the vaccines are, they have a microchip in them and they're gonna hurt you and you're gonna die of it and you don't need it and all this stuff and that whatever. Look, all I'm saying is I understand because there's a lot of noise out there. And nowadays we literally live in two different worlds. There's the in-person world, and then there's the online world, and we just really need to keep a distinction between those. And listen, believe me, I understand. You get misled sometimes. You go down different paths. All I'm trying to say is this shit is crazy, and they're writing a lot of books about it. There have been like 4 books that came out in the last week about the last days of the election and the time in between the election and when Trump left office and the COVID response. This week I've been listening to the audiobook Nightmare Scenario. It's about a 25-hour audiobook. It was like $22. Yeah, get this. The audiobook that you don't even get is $22, but the one that you read on your phone is $15. Tell me how that's... I mean, I guess they're paying the voice actor. I don't know. I don't do the shit. But that being said, I paid for it. I'm about halfway through it. It's fucking good. It's fucking good. And if you have any questions or whatever, these are highly credible sources that have talked to pretty much everybody that's in the administration. And here's the thing. You think to yourself, well, there's a lot of Trump loyalists and people in the White House that they're not going to even spill the beans. Here's the thing. They all did. They just didn't identify themselves. So there are things that are cross-referenced and questions and verified by, dozens of people. And it's fascinating. Now we're seeing... Today, the first Capitol rioter is going to be charged with a sedition charge. We'll see. But if you are stuck in one of those ideologies, or you just completely aren't sure, reach out, talk to somebody. And if you're somebody that knows somebody like that, and you're struggling with how to talk to them about it, just try. Just keep trying. Keep trying to bring them back on the right path. And I don't know if that means giving them some time to cool off and watch this whole thing fall apart. But it's like the show's called House of Cards. It seems like it's all falling down now. I don't know. I'm no expert. Anyway, views of a driver. I'm just going to get to this real quick. I had this really funny ride this week where I picked up this girl, and she was in the military. She was going off to training. She had her giant backpack. She had this other giant duffel bag, all this heavy shit. And she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be late. I gotta get to the welcome center at the base." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." So we go, and it's like an hour and a half away, in an Air Force base in New Jersey. So we're driving there, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm late, blah, blah, blah. My flight got canceled, whatever." She's like stressed out or whatever. She gets to the base welcome center and realizes that she left her military ID in the airport. And she's like, "Oh, I gotta go back. So she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I did this," or whatever. "I can't believe I did this. I'm supposed to be in the army, and now I forgot my ID, and I'm gonna be late for orientation, and now I gotta go back." So we go all the way back, like an hour back at least, to the airport. She runs to the airport. She has to go all the way back through security. She runs up to the area that where she checked in with her special military permit and all that. That little office closed at 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, bitch. So it's closed. So then she has to track down a manager who has to go in that office, open it up, get her the badge. She gets back in the car. We're heading all the way back to. So first of all, there's the initial ride that was like over $100. She tipped me $40 on top of that. Then we had to do the back and forth ride. She gets to the base. The welcome center is closed. There is no way she can check in. and get in the base. And now she's really far from everything because it's in the middle of the state in a very, very rural area. And she's like, oh my God, this would happen to me. And she's very like, just not taking life too seriously and all that. It was just hilarious. So then it turns out she has somebody that's a family member that works inside the base. So they were doing some kind of quick pickup, or I don't know. They're going to get her somehow. So I just quick left. Got home before the big storm started. Well, there you have it. That's the beef. The movie of the week this week is Terminator 3, by the way. I had Terminator 2 as the movie of the week a couple weeks ago, but I recently watched the third one. That's the one with Christina Loken, the hot girl Terminator that's chasing now older, what's his name? John Connor. And John Connor and everything like that. They're running away, they're getting away and all that. It's all good. Okay. So that is essentially the main part of the show. Actually, there's one more thing I wanted to say. This is more or less well, I was online and I went in my spam folder. I always like to check in there to see if there's anything juicy, And I come up with this one email that just says, "Hey, are you looking for something new and exciting?" And I say, that sounds like an unexpected thrill of a lifetime poster. And they say, "Are you a Fisher?" And I say, "Well, my last name is Fisher." And they say, "Great." And so they ask me, they say, "Do you want to come along to a free trip?" I said, "A free trip? Where's this free trip going? Why is it free?" They said, No, this is a big opportunity." I said, "All right." So we go to show up, and they said, "Sorry, this was a fishing scheme. We tried to get you here. We told you there was going to be a free trip and everything. This was a fishing scheme to see if you would come along." Okay, that was the worst. I'm sorry. Some of you might say, "Was he drunk?" Others might say, was that a joke?" I was literally just kind of making that up on the spot and trying to turn it into a joke, but instead it was dog shit. Anyway, now, so one thing I'm gonna tease is when I was in Driving with Elbows, one of the songs that I contributed, "Don't Look Down on Me." I dug that out. It's from 10 years ago. I'm gonna play that at the very end of the show. So stick around for "Don't Look Down on Me" if you want to hear it. It was recorded in the studio on some fucking burning brownies, some strong indica shit. But it's a song I wrote about me and about my life. And don't look down on me. I'm just a person like you. I make mistakes. I do dumb shit. I lose shit. I have, a death in the family just like you do, or you will. No offense. Didn't mean to be a downer, but that's what life is about. And sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do to get shit done. The first line of the song is, "I smoke my cigarette and I drink my drink. You know what makes me think about my life and what it's given me." Okay, doesn't take a genius to figure out what that means. Whether you go to a bar and you slam back some shots, or you sit around and you have a beer or two. You gotta ponder life. You gotta think about life. Sometimes you gotta take it to the extreme and you gotta meditate and you gotta self-reflect and look back. But sometimes you gotta write a badass song and you gotta rock out. And you gotta have a little bit of a blues vibe to it. Anyway, I'm gonna play that song at the end of the show. It's gonna rock your fucking dick off and it's gonna be great. But real quick, before we get to that, one thing that I promised in the description of this is I am going to be what was I thinking? Oh, I'm going to be putting all of the Led Zeppelin albums and I'm going to rank them in the order of how much I like them. That's right. I think this is how this. Yeah, it is. Okay. This is the one I play whenever there's something music related or whatever. Anyway, so Led Zeppelin had a pretty extensive career. The last album came out in 82. Their first album came out in 69. 69 was a busy year because they actually had Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 that year. And then number 3 in 70, 4 in 71. And then along came Houses of the Holy in 73, Physical Graffiti in 75, Presence in 76, In Through the Outdoor in 79, and Coda in 82. So basically, this is an arbitrary list. This is just my own feelings. This is what I was thinking. This is how I like them. I'm rating it on how many songs are in my top 10 per album, and I'm also factoring in how they are live and, all these sorts of things. So check it out. See if you agree with me. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because not everybody is a giant Led Zeppelin head. But now it's time to get the let out. All right, in the number 1 slot. Well, actually, no, I'm going to do this in reverse order. So the one I liked the least was from 1982, Coda. Now listen, Coda was probably the album that I listened to the least. So, I've been listening to them for probably 15 years now. And, it's just not one that I had. So I don't know too much about it. So I'm just putting it on the bottom for that spot. I didn't want to disqualify it, but whatever. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so there's 9 of them. So number 1 will be the best. Number 9 will be my least favorite. Number 8. Now this one is going to be unpopular for some. I gave Led Zeppelin 2 the number 8 spot. Now I love a lot of the songs on Led Zeppelin 2. You got Ramble On, you got In My Time of Dying and all that. You have some of the leftover blues songs that were left over from the first one. It's a great album. I'm not downplaying it. But that's another one that I didn't really spend that much time on. And out of all the numbered ones, it's the one that I just like the least. I just, some of the stuff is real sexual, like squeeze lemon juice down my leg and all that. It is what it is. It's just not much. Presence. Now, this is another one that, again, that I haven't spent, as much time on. Now, before you get upset, I have listened to it a lot. Achilles' Last Stand is probably the best song on the album and one of their best of all time. I think you should give that album definitely a shot. I give that number 7. Now, Physical Graffiti in 75. Now, I give that one the 6th slot, mainly because I really like the old Led Zeppelin the best. I'm sorry, the early Led Zeppelin the best. And, some of the live stuff in the middle, that was kind of like their sweet spot, like the Madison Square Garden era from, The Song Remains the Same and all that. Physical Graffiti's great, though. It seems that their anthem, their self-proclaimed anthem that they would have would be Kashmir, which, is a fucking banger of a song, so makes sense to me. But it's really a great album. Two CDs. It's got other kind of B-side ones like Boogie with Stu and stuff like that. I love it, so I think you should give it a shot. Next in the number 5 slot, fifth from the top, Houses of the Holy. Now this one's great because it's got the studio version of No Quarter. That happens to be my favorite song, and it's a real good one. And there's a bunch of other songs on there that are great. But this album overall has a tone and goes to a place that, none of the other albums really had done by this point. So it's kind of like they're making that leap now from, the bluesy South and sort of like old-timey Lord of the Rings kind of feel, to now we're kicking it up a notch and we're getting down and dirty, and we're going to explore some more of the human psyche. Number 4. My fourth favorite is In Through the Outdoor. Now, this one is kind of one of those 80s albums that people they just write it off and go, it's not as good as their old stuff. But In Through the Outdoor had a lot of great songs. I mean, Fool on the Rain is on there. And, All of My Love, which was for a Robert Plant's son. But also a real moody blues classic called I'm Gonna Crawl. It starts out with it's got Carouselumbra, which is one of the only songs on Led Zeppelin's catalog that you have to buy the whole album for. And it's got what's that called? Not In My Time of Dying. It's called it doesn't fucking matter. It's the first song on the album. Look it up if you're interested. Number 3, third from the top, oddly enough, is Led Zeppelin 3. Now, Led Zeppelin 3 rocks, man. Led Zeppelin 3 has that real, lover's lament kind of anthem. It's got the immigrant song. Now, let's be honest here. Whether you are a Led Zeppelin fan or not, or you are any kind of connoisseur of heavy metal and rock music, you got your awesome bands like Black Sabbath and all that paved the way. Nobody's discounting that. Nobody's saying they're not great bands. But the Immigrant Song, are you kidding? That thing fucking rocks and thumps harder than your fucking grandma, okay? So don't give me that shit about, I saw this at the Fire Festival. No. It's just not as good. I'm sorry. While you're at it, Since I've Been Loving You Live, get the fuck out of here. That's all it needs to be said. Led Zeppelin 3 is third. Now, in second place, my second favorite album by Led Zeppelin. Hold on a second here. Oh, my chaser's all gone. What do you do when the chaser's all gone? Alright. Second place is Led Zeppelin 1. Now, I thought about making Led Zeppelin 1 number 1 because, hits like Dazed and Confused, good times, bad times, I had my share. And babe, I am gonna leave you. They're all good. They're very good. In fact, a complaint that some people have about Led Zeppelin is how they kind of borrowed from other artists and things like that. Here's what you gotta know, folks. Whether you're a new music connoisseur, old music connoisseur, if you're just not even into music at all and you're into painting, you're just into paintings. You paint and you collect paintings. Here's what I gotta tell you. The best of the best rip-off art from the past all the time. Over and over and over. And it's going to keep happening. Look what's happening with sampling and rap music. Look what's happening with remaking music using the same old hook with a new beat. Those people who are getting at Led Zeppelin and saying they took a 2-chord blues song and took it from the swamps of Louisiana and turned it into a global hit can go fuck themselves, because I'm telling you right now, whether it's Taylor Swift, whether it's the Piano Man, I don't give a fuck. They're all playing their own kind of new music to get away with what they really want to play. Ask Jack White all about it. Go and listen to any artist. You go and you listen to their music. They have their usual anthems, their classics, their the rip roars, whatever you want to call them. But then when you get to the B-sides and you get to the lower songs on the album and everything like that, they're starting to cover things. They're starting to take pieces from other music. They're starting to do this or that. Like the guitar player of The Doors in Soul Kitchen. He used to manipulate the guitar in a way that emulated like a James Brown like horn section. You see what I mean? You just taking things and putting it. So back to the painter thing. Painters are just recreating life, whether it's a self-portrait or they're painting, whatever. You're just taking life and you're putting a different filter on it. And whether that's Andy Warhol and the soup can thing, or that's what art is. It's a recreation of life, and it's supposed to take you through all of the emotions: anger, sadness, love, loss, all of it. Some are there to be enhancements for certain things. Some are there to sort of comment on a particular subject. But the thing that you got to remember there is art isn't for anyone in particular. It's for all of us. And in a way, not all of it needs to be respected, but at the same time, it does. Just like this podcast. I'm taking all of the colors I've got and all of the paintbrushes I've got and that I've collected over the years, and I'm swirling all this shit together. So, enjoy. Which leads me to my last point. My favorite Led Zeppelin album is Led Zeppelin 4. Yes, with classics like Rock and Roll and Black Dog and The Battle of Evermore and Stairway to Heaven. I mean, come on. And what the fuck? When the Levee Breaks? Are you kidding? That's like that kid that was talking to God. That's his worst nightmare. When the Levee Breaks. Get out of here. Anyway, it's a kick-ass album. It takes you through all of the different levels of music, in my opinion. It takes us to rock, the mysticism of the Lord of the Rings tracks, like the Battle of Evermore with the mandolin and all that. I mean, it's fucking crazy. It's unbelievable. But I think it's the best. Anyway, that was my take on the Led Zeppelin albums. I didn't even mention who's in the band. Obviously, Robert Plant, vocals, Jimmy Page, my favorite guitar player, John Bonham on drums, and John Paul Jones on mandolin, bass organ, upright bass, keyboards, organ, mandolin, flute. I mean, whatever. He's like the know-it-all guy. He does it all. He knows it all. That's all it. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. We just hit the 1 hour mark, so that's going to be pretty much where I take it to nowadays. I am going to end with the end of the show song right now, but then stay tuned. There's about 3 more minutes where I am going to put on the song Don't Look Down on Me from our old band, Drawing with Elbows. So anyway, this is the end of the show now.
drink my drink. You know it makes me think about my life and what it's given me, yeah. We all have our down days, we all have our straight days. Doesn't nights in the blue, tell me what color you choose. Yeah, I got nothing to lose, so don't you bring me down. It makes me feel like that, yeah. Alright. Face a lot of pressure from this 100-degree town. The heat and the people I meet are always trying to bring me down. But now I know I don't know where to go. We all have our down days, we all have our strange days. I've been out in the news, tell me what color you choose. Yeah, I got nothing to lose, so don't you bring it down. It makes me feel like life, yeah. Alright. Some pay their dues, and some sing the blues. Yeah, I got nothing to lose, so don't you